Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. Continuing on with MLB Wednesday. Got Astros Giants in this video, but we'll go through every single game on the board in the live show. We're going live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time to go through the day games. Then we'll be live again at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go through the NBA Finals game, WNBA, and the MLB night games. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Astros Giants in San Francisco. Let's roll.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
All right, like I said, Houston on the road in San Francisco. This one's basically a pick'em. Maybe San Francisco short home favorites. I mean, minus 112, minus 113. But most of these books have it in the even pick'em right now. Total sitting down at 7.5. Great pitching matchup here. Framber Valdez on the mound for Houston. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. So both have their respective aces on the mound, or at least what we think the aces are. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we got a slight lean on Houston in the first five, 2.24 to 2.13 Houston, but a slight lean on San Francisco final score, 4.0 to 4.24 Giants. So let's take a look at this matchup, and we'll start with Logan Webb, who he's really gotten his shit together. I mean, his last five starts, 2.18 ERA, 0.91 whip, and a 2.97 expected FIP. Got off to a kind of a rocky start to the season, but he's really gotten things together. And he's back to looking like the old Logan Webb, which is a guy we can trust at home. I mean, on the season, a 1.71 ERA at home, 1.05 whip. Really hasn't slowed down. Last two home starts, 277 and 108. He's really pitched well at home. And it's key that he's at home here because this Houston lineup has produced much better at home themselves. You see, on the road, this has been a mediocre at best lineup all season. On the year, Houston on the road, 18th in WRC+, 16th in OPS, 18th in WOBA. Last 14 days, around the same as that. So the Houston lineup hasn't been nearly the same away from Houston. They have gotten to right-handed pitching, though. In the last 30 days, 4th, and 4th. In the last 14 days, 14th, 13th, and 14th. As a whole, this has been a lineup that's been hitting righties. You can see here, the last 6 righty starters to pitch against the Astros, 6.53 ERA and a 1.52 whip. So they've been getting to righty starters. Also, they've been getting to good righty starters. You can see Logan Webb's got a 2.92 ERA. Astros, one of the best lineups in baseball against righties with an ERA below 3.50. So they've actually done a good job of hitting good right-handed starters. And in addition to that, they've been hitting sinkers really well, which is Logan Webb's main pitch. 37.4% of his pitches this year have been sinkers. Houston 4th on the full season and in the last 30 days against that pitch. But he also throws a lot of changeups, and Houston's been pretty awful against the changeup. But as a whole, Houston's got good numbers against Logan Webb's pitch mix. And to top it all off, Logan Webb has done a lot of his damage against bad lineups. You can see he's got great numbers against bottom 10 lineups versus righties this year, but against top 10 lineups versus righties, 37 and a third innings pitched, he's got an ERA over 5 and a whip over 160. So good lineups versus righties have given him problems, which we know the Astros are. Now, they're not the greatest lineup on the road, but against righties, this is definitely a top 10 lineup. Good news for Logan Webb is he's actually pitched well against Houston. His last 2 starts against the Astros, he's 2-0 with a 2.63 ERA and a 1.10 whip. So the last 2 times he pitched against the Astros, he pitched well. If you're wondering which righty starters the Astros have seen recently, you can see they got to Griffin Canning, didn't get to Michaelis, but they pretty much got to everyone on this list except for Pablo Lopez at the bottom on May 31st. Didn't get to Pablo, and then they didn't get to Miles Michaelis on June 5th either. Other than that, they got to every single righty on this list here of the last 7. So as a whole, I know Logan Webb's been dealing, and I know he's been great at home, but I think we can count on the Astros to get a couple across. I mean, not offensive explosion. I'm thinking 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs from Logan Webb. On the other side, we've got Framber Valdez, and you talk about a guy who seems to have figured it out. Framber's dealt in his last 2 starts, a 1.13 ERA and an 0.56 whip. And the fact that this game's in San Francisco is actually a good thing for Framber Valdez because he's been elite on the road. On the year away from Houston, he's got a 2.67 ERA and a 2.67 FIP. So he's been great on the road. Here are his game logs here. Last road game at LA. And the Angels are much better against lefties than righties. So it's not like that's a completely easy spot. Threw a complete game. 9 innings, 4 hits, and a run. He was excellent. Other than that, there are some problems in here. I mean, he struggled against Seattle a couple times. He always seems to struggle against Seattle. The Angels did hit him up back on May 20th. But as a whole, Framber Valdez on the road has been pretty solid. Then that brings us to the Giants numbers at home, which have been terrible. On the season, they're a terrible home lineup. They're 17th in WRC+, 22nd in OPS, 24th in WOBA. Definitely improving as of late. In the last 30 days, 10th, 13th, and 13th. But in the last 40 days, they drop back to the bottom. They have been getting to lefties, though. In the last 30 days, 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd. In the last 14 days, 6th, 6th, and 7th. So they've been getting the lefties for sure. The last 3 lefty starters to pitch against the Giants, an even 9 ERA and a 192 whip. So yeah, they've given lefty starters problems, and that makes things interesting because Framber Valdez has actually been giving up runs when he sees top 10 lineups versus lefties. Now, do we think the Giants are a top 10 lineup against lefties? I mean, they certainly have been in the last 30 days, so it's open for interpretation. I mean, one thing to take into consideration when you're looking at this, 5.79 ERA, look at the whip and expected FIP, indicating he actually pitched well in those games, just had some bad luck as far as runs getting across. So I'm really not worried about Framber against the Giants lineup. He really has looked great recently, and he also has excellent numbers against righty bats, a 109 whip and a 283 WOBA on the year. Look how many righties are going to be in the lineup for the Giants. 8 projected righties in this lineup. So Framber Valdez on the road where he's been a savage against a Giants lineup with 8 righties, and he's absolutely dominant against righties. He's also pitched well against the Giants both times he saw him, 1-1 with a 3.27 ERA, 127 whip. So the Giants didn't give him problems the 2 times he saw him. As a whole on this side, I think we can count on Framber Valdez. I know the Giants have been playing better baseball as of late, but Framber Valdez on the road against a bunch of righties is a spot I'd like to back him. So I think Framber Valdez pitches well. As far as the bullpen matchups, I mean, in the last 30 days, these 2 units are about even. If you take into account that this game's in San Francisco, maybe the slight edge to the Giants because the Giants bullpen has been better at home than the Astros bullpen has been on the road. So a slight edge to the Giants considering it's in San Francisco. But offensively, I'll give the slight edge to Houston. They've done a better job as of late getting to bullpen. So pretty much a wash in the late innings.
Okay, so I actually cut the video off there because I wanted to wait for the game to end to see the bullpen usage. And the Astros might have a situation here. So they use Scott, Abreu, and Presley tonight, which means Abreu's gone 3 of the last 4. Presley's gone 3 of the last 4. Montero's gone 3 of the last 4. And Scott has gone 3 of the last 4. So Houston's got serious usage problems in the bullpen, which makes me really like the Giants in the late innings. Problem is, I think Framber's going to pitch well. So I'll lean Giants. I'll say Giants are past. I think I already have like 5 bets open right now as I'm recording this at midnight. So I'm not going to throw it down yet, but I think Giants money line. You know what? I probably will end up it. It'll be Giants or pass. I'll let you know on the live show. Speaking of which, live show 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. KyleKirms.com if you want to sign up for Sauce Network Plus. You know all that. Yeah. Talk to you guys later.